Hey everyone, it's Dr. Rick with a tutorial on fasting mimicking diet. And I've done several of them, but this one is specifically on how to get the Prolon box, or that Prolon box. But if this is the first time you're finding me, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and then the alert bell to find out when I do new videos, especially with this season coming up. So I have had a few videos on Facebook and YouTube with regards to please don't get too heavy. I think we're allowed to indulge. But the problem is if you don't pay it forward and put the work in, the likelihood is you're just going to indulge and put more weight on. And we don't need that. We're overweight as it is, as a society altogether. The body mass index of America is just climbing. And now we have longevity plateauing or decreasing for 20 to 40-year-olds. But we'll talk about that at some other video. So, Prolon box. This is the Prolon box, as I've pointed out in, I think, an unboxing. I'll put it down below. This is first video you hit. It's pretty cool. It comes with this cool bottle that you put your fluids in, and every day for 5 days, just like the boxes are all marked, like that's day 1, and you can see, sorry if that's a little whited out, you can see all 5 days are in here. 5 tiny boxes for 5 tiny days. And it goes by fast. You can certainly do this doing your own thing as far as calculating, and I have a video for those of you who its price is really expensive. It is expensive, but what I want to do is pass my savings on to you. I'm a provider, and I could probably make a lot of money, but it's not right. It doesn't feel right for me to do that, and I really want my patients to be successful. So, and that's the only hitch, is that I would suggest that you either subscribe to me or you come in and be a patient. The average Joe, or if you're in Africa, like a couple of my patients, or outside the U.S. I think it's important to have some kind of connection with the person that's giving you the box. I don't want you to just use a box, because there's a lot of benefit to this. In fact, here are 5 pointers that I've put together on why I would do a Prolon box. First is, it only takes 5 days. And as I mentioned in the other videos, you can choose 5 days every season. That's 5 days in 120 days, 3 months. Or you can do every 5 days every month. Or you can do 5 days twice a year. You can just do a 5 days period and see how you do. It is only 5 days, and it's easy to get past. If you do a water-only fast or a 1 meal a day, which I just did a video on, a little bit tough. I'm now getting to 3 o'clock. I haven't eaten since about 8 last night. So I usually have an intermittent window of eating, or a feeding window, from 12 to 8. I've pushed it a little bit, just experimenting. I love self-experimenting. But I'm going to be essentially using a 4-hour window to eat once a day. That's what I'm doing at this point in time. Who knows? We're going to see. I didn't like the 1 meal a day thing, but I see the benefits if you extend it. So it's kind of novelty. I don't think I can keep that up for a long time. However, this Prolon box, 5 days and that's it. You can decide how often you want to do it, but the downside is there is no downside. You can do it even if you have medical conditions or medical problems, barring too many medicines that you might be taking. You can do this 5 days a month and not have any issues and just chop away at your weight and other things. So that leads me to the second thing. Second bullet point is that you can have fat loss without lean body mass loss. So usually intermittent fasting, 1 meal a day, water-only fasts, you will lose weight, but you'll lose fat and lean body mass. So you'll have fat taken out of your visceral fat and sometimes subcutaneous fat, but you'll also, for fuel, because the body's not going to be having any fuel, it will eat the fat that it has and use that as fuel, but it also eat your protein, your muscle. So that's why usually when you see a lot of people lose weight quickly, they'll also look very gaunt. They'll be withdrawn. They'll have saggy skin because they're eating their protein. Muscle wasting doesn't look good. You look like a Holocaust camp survivor or a prison camp survivor. So it's important to maintain lean body mass without fat loss. So that's the one thing that Prolon does. And the other thing that it does is with the turning off of the immune system and calming down of the thyroid during the 5 days. After the 5 days, from the 6th to the 16th day, you'll actually have development of muscle. That's what I'm doing an experiment on. It's mentioned with Longo that with the FMD and the research he's come up with, he has found that you'll preserve muscle mass, but I feel that it's called myosatellite cells. I feel that the myosatellite cells actually get turned on. At least personally, I have had spectacular muscle responsiveness with the same old exercise, same old diet, same old sleep pattern, and I just it's outstanding. So I'm self-experimenting. I'll be hitting the 6-month mark this December, not 2019, and I'm going to try to redo everything as far as blood tests, DEXA scan by June of 2020, and we'll see how good it gets. Now, there is some error there because you have some bias. I am driven to do this, so I have more than enough enthusiasm to maintain this stuff. So it kind of makes it a little biased. However, who cares? I mean, all we want to do is prove that it might help and prove that it doesn't hurt. And it's already been proven. The question would be whether it really turns on muscle, whether it affects your exercise. And I have not had any of that. So far, so good. The third thing, the third bullet point, I believe that this really works well for, especially some of my MS patients, my Crohn's disease patients. I'm waiting to see what happens with Alzheimer's, but it's a tough sell to do Alzheimer's. However, immune system reboot. So if you have those diseases, Crohn's disease, multiple sclerosis, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, even if you just have IBS, not necessarily Crohn's, or those things are when the antibodies, they do the wrong thing. For whatever stimulus or whatever trigger, your antibodies will attack self. The antibodies are supposed to be able to attack viruses, fungi, bacteria, and some of the immune system duties are to hunt precancer cells. But in a lot of patients I see, the antibodies attack self in the form of diarrhea, irritable bowel, the Crohn's where you just have bloody mucus, multiple sclerosis where you have brain fog, Alzheimer's, as I mentioned, it's not really an autoimmune disease. Hashimoto's where you keep on attacking your thyroid till it's disintegrated. So all the rheumatoid arthritis, all these diseases, you can actually reboot your immune system without any medicines. There's no medicine involved here. It's only a 5-day diet. Now, it's not easy. This thing makes it easier, but it's not easy to get through the 5 days. Once you pass your first 5 days and get used to the growl, the hunger, the ghrelin that turns on, the growth hormone that turns on, or at least after the 5 days, you will actually be more successful the next time you do it. And that's one thing, it does help you with craving. I'm going to jump down to the last bullet point, number 5, break the stuck point wall. So most of you, well, I shouldn't say most of you, but some of you who have already tried and really pushed and kicked ass, you might not be losing anymore. You have plateaued with weight loss, with restrictive dieting, with exercising your butt off. You've plateaued, and sometimes it's very discouraging to see no further gains or losses if you think about it. And this will break that stuck point because it resets your metabolism. When you introduce starvation or semi-starvation, now you don't starve because you're actually getting a decent tasting all day long meal. Actually, there's a couple different meals in here, about 4 to 5 different times during the day when you feed yourself something. It's not going to be a big juicy steak. In fact, most of these are plant-based soups, a couple bars here and there, and then liquid. So it does not allow you to get too famished. At the same time, it's keeping down pKa, it's keeping down mTOR, these two things that turn on cancer or turn on inflammation. It also brings up or allows ketosis to occur. So you guys who are doing ketosis every single day by eating fat, you can actually do it this way and turn it on. You won't maintain it, but you'll be adapted. So if you want to do a ketosis type, fasting, or you want to jump into ketosis, this would be a great segue into that. If you don't want to do it, this gives you a little bit of an introduction, lets the brain get used to a taste of ketosis 5 days a month or 5 days a season. And that way, when you do decide you're going to chop down the weight, cut back the carbs, skip breakfast, intermittent fast, your brain doesn't go through that withdrawal state. It's called a Herxheimer reaction. So when your brain doesn't have sugar, doesn't have as many carbs, it's coming down or not getting the fuel system it needs or the fuel sources because you're cutting back on calories, it hurts. It makes you feel lousy. You feel like brain fog, body aches. Some people actually get palpitations, headaches, vomiting, nausea, because the brain is telling the vagus nerve, go hunt for food, and you're not giving it. Well, this allows the brain and all the nervous system and the blood vessels and the muscle system to actually taste a little bit of keto. And when you have a ketosis type reaction, the brain goes, and when there's no fuel coming in, it goes straight for the fuel that we have stored. Unless your body mass index is like 23 and you don't have any fat. That's rare. But if that's the case, why have you been watching this video? But again, I think, and that'll give me to my last pointer, anti-cancer properties. The reason Longo came up with this concept was because he was in the footsteps of Wilford, one of his predecessors, who stayed with a group of people in the biodome. They really cut back on fluids. They showed some nice blood test results and biochemical reactions after they got out of the biodome, but they looked very gaunt. And so there was a positive there, but there was a physical negative. And Longo was trying to see if we could do something with getting the positives out of that, but not looking so gaunt. And essentially, he came up with this, which is really cool. It actually has, if you go head-to-head with some of the, from University of Southern California, go head-to-head with some of the just chemotherapy-only protocols. When you add a fasting mimicking diet, it actually improves the outcome of chemotherapy when you add that kind of diet. And it's only 5 days. So if you can talk, if he could have talked, in addition to several other different centers throughout the U.S. during the time that they were studying it, if you can talk a cancer patient into just doing 5 days a month, and then having them have better success as far as beating the cancer, I mean, you guys could do it. Hopefully none of you have cancer, but if you do have cancer, I would, no question, get this thing on. It's only 5 days. You're probably nauseated anyway. And this is whether or not you're on chemotherapy medicines. In fact, even if you're on cannabis, medical cannabis for the side effects of chemotherapy, this is still positive in its aspects. And all I want to do is make you guys successful in your journey. And if you don't have a journey, get into your doctor's office or come in to see me. Look for or get a consult via the internet with me, and I can help you put your pathway or your journey together. That's what's most important. There's a lot of information out there on the internet, and you can Google search your own, but the idea is if you can come up with a system that won't hurt you, that's not too expensive, and it is expensive, but I guess that's what we'll talk about next. If you want to get a cheaper rate, be my subscriber or be a patient of mine. So if you go to my website, this is Herbal411. Let me just get this. The Herbal411.com. You go to the website and you'll see right here, it says Prolon Box Store. If you click on that, it takes you to the website at Get Healthy. And this is my website, just a page, but you can, it's very secure, but you can log in, create your own login, your own ID, password, and here. You can get a Prolon box for $199. Hopefully you can see that. It's not too bright on the screen. It's $199 here. It's a Prolon 3-month supply here. It's a 6-month supply. $1,200. That sounds expensive to me, and I think that's until you feel the results. And I just got a Christmas present here because it was on sale, and I asked my wife if I could buy 3 boxes, and it is heavy. But I was able to get a discount. And again, I want to give my patients a discount. So if you get the Prolon box, $199, at least as far as El Nutra, the company that makes this, makes the Prolon box, El Nutra is concerned, you can call my office for this coupon. This coupon, if you call my office at 630-213-3232, I can fax this over. Again, you have to tell me that you're my patient or you're a subscriber. And once I confirm that, I will have this faxed over to you. You can have 1 per box. So you guys can figure out what to do with that. But at least you'll get 1 box. So it's $199 plus the $50 coupon. And a $50 coupon brings it down to $140. That's pretty decent. $149. But if you, I think what El Nutra, I've been told by the El Nutra folks who supplied me with this when I first started this journey, that they would, you buy this from Get Healthy from me with this price, unless you can fight on your own with another price. And then you keep the receipt, but then you have to submit this to El Nutra. El Nutra will send you, and it's all here on the bottom form. I don't know if you can see that. But El Nutra will send you a check, and there's 6 to 8 weeks for delivery of the check for $50, so you get $50 back. So $149, that's not bad compared to like a night out or a big party that you might spend, especially or a membership to a club, which is, you know, if you want to hire a personal trainer, go exercise on your own, decent. But again, the benefits of this, there's a couple different benefits that I already spoke of, and I just think this is a nice way to start things off. For those of you who live in the Chicagoland area, I am holding a get-together, community gathering on January 11th for Ignite Your Life, and I'm going to have about 5 different providers that are in the area that I have seen make a difference in everybody's life. Weight loss, new life, new outlook, calming practice. They're going to come. So I'll post it soon. My suggestion is keep an eye on my Facebook page, or I'll hopefully put a couple videos out before. That's January 11th, Saturday. I have a place, but I have to confirm with all the other folks that are coming about if we have enough space. I might be moving it, but join me or look for me on Facebook or Instagram, or just keep on following me on YouTube. And hopefully this gives you a couple of ideas of how you might be able to benefit from fasting mimicking diet, at least if you're stuck. Again, there's great reasons to try it. There's no downside. Even if you're on diabetes medicine, there's no downside. So that in case those of you who are interested, I have a couple of, these are the references I've used from National Institute of Health as far as the benefits of the fasting mimicking diet. So as far as increasing health span, improving obesity, improving gut microbiota. And this is not fasting mimicking diet, but a patient of mine asked about overnight fasting for improvement in breast cancer, and it does help. But again, Walter Longo's information already proves that it helps with different types of. He studied one cancer, however, he's applying it to other cancers. He's applying it now to MS, and the information's already out. Check out my video on MS and fasting mimicking diet. Applying it to Alzheimer's disease, and I can't wait to see what happens when he applies it to the Crohn's disease patients. So I'm going to apply it to athletics. I just have to get enough athletes involved. But I'll be the first one to tell you, I haven't had this kind of muscle responsiveness, especially shoulders. Those of you who follow me, I'm only doing 15 minutes 3 days a week and maybe 60 minutes on the weekend, and that's it. I'm an intermittent faster. I've been doing it for a long time. A vegan at this point. I was a pescatarian for a couple of years up until November 2018. And I had some good benefits, but this kicked butt. So that's why I like it. Again, I'm not trying to make a lot of money off this. I'll probably make $10 a box, but I think that will pay for the website, and because I have to pay monthly. In fact, I'll still be negative, but that's okay. Eventually it'll pay off. So if you have any comments on how you got benefit or you benefited from FMD, put them on the comments down below. If this is your phone, you have to scroll way to the bottom. If this is a laptop, then you just put your comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe. Otherwise, join me on the journey, and hopefully this gives you a little bit of a boost. I'll see you at the next tutorial.